I'm here on Forbes Avenue in front of a huge construction site where this sidewalk has been closed for over a year. It's for the Point Park University Pittsburgh Playhouse Project. It's for performing arts students at Point Park University. Reporting for Point News, I'm Aniya Thomas. I'm here at Point Park University's University Center where students are cramming in and overflowing this library, getting ready for finals. They are using their textbooks and computers ready to take on finals week. I'm reporting for Point News. I'm Aniya Thomas. I'm here on Point Park University's campus at Village Park where students are just overflowing this area now that the sun is out and they can just enjoy it with their friends. They're here studying and just enjoying the wonderful weather that Pittsburgh has to offer. Reporting for Point News, I'm Aniya Thomas. I'm here at Point Park University's gym where students are coming here in between their studying for finals to de-stress and get their bodies ready for the summer. Reporting for Point News, I'm Aniya Thomas. I'm here at Point Park University at the dining hall where they just switched their company from Aramark to the Culinary Art Group. This group specializes on healthier and better choices for their students. I'm reporting for Point News. I'm Aniya Thomas. We are live at the Body Christian Fellowship where we're at the prayer burner where the topic tonight is love. We have wonderful food that has been prepared by Dean Palo, and we're also just enjoying some really good fellowship and some really delicious crispy bacon. Welcome to this special Point News interview. I'm your host, Aniya Thomas, and I'm here with our special guest, Mr. Michael Gieske. He is the Dean of Student Life. How are you today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Where are you from?
I am from Florida. I grew up in South Florida, yeah.
Awesome. So what about this job to you is the biggest headache?
So there's obviously a few things. I think the biggest thing is communicating with students. I think we as an administration try our best to get information to students. And there are a lot of times where students will say, I didn't know that or I wasn't aware of that. And for us, we think we have given students every way we can to get the information to them. But still, there are plenty of students who say, I didn't know that, I wasn't aware of that.
Right.
So that can be a big headache for
Constant
us.
battle.
Yes, yes.
So what about this job is the best for you?
I think the best for me is working with students. Like that's why I do this job without a doubt. Meeting students in their first year, coming in not knowing anything and trying to figure out who they are, and then having seniors leaving and all that I've seen a student go through in those 4 to 5 years, depending on the student. That to me has always been why I do this.
Yeah. And you really get a close look into it since you're really the dean of student life. You get a nice close look into the lives of students.
Yeah, I interact with students on a daily basis, and which is good and bad in some sense. Well, I shouldn't say bad is not the right word, but I see them at their best, and I can also see them at their worst, or I can see them when they're doing great things, and I can see them when they're struggling through things. So yes, I see students in every aspect of their lives while they're here.
Yeah. So going off of that, what are some of your biggest concerns for the student body? I know that I've seen a student summit on sexual violence and not on my campus signs on every floor, and just the campus climate surveys, plays and concerts that are targeted towards sexual violence and just different things that you, student life would just try to prohibit from happening. So what would you What would you say is your biggest concern for Point Park students? Is that one of them?
It is definitely. And I think that's something that all universities deal with. The combination of the environment of higher education can cause some of these things. It's almost like a perfect storm. So you've got an 18, 19-year-old who has just left home, who is branching out into figuring out who they are, what they want to be, all those kind of things. Independence for the very first time for most of them. Then you add alcohol, which is without a doubt a part of life on any college campus. You bring in outside parties, you go into sort of neighborhoods and those kind of things. So it can become a perfect storm. Students don't know each other. Students are quick to trust one another when not necessarily that's the fairest thing to do. Just because it's another college student doesn't mean they're trustworthy from the beginning. So students are willing to take risks where I think in non-college campus communities, people would be less likely to just go home, less likely to let somebody walk them home, those kind of things. But because you're a Point Park student too, you must be trustworthy. And that's not always the case,
Right.
sadly. So I think that the environment of a college campus affords some of these things to happen more frequently than we would like. So yes, it happens on actual, anywhere you go. Our goal, our want is to reduce that as much as we can. So we want to have students be aware that it's possible, and that's part of why it does happen right from the start. We don't want to shy away from it. We don't want students to believe not here. While we wish it didn't happen on our campus, we're not going to say it doesn't. So we want to bring it to people's attention right from the start. And then the other side of it is the actual programming. It's not just one person's responsibility to stop it, it's everybody's. So if you're aware of the signs of somebody at risk, we want other students to know those signs, be aware of what might be out there, and then help their friends.
Right.
So yeah.
So you said something about how things are more prone to happening on college campuses. And I know you just recently put a Narcan on campus. What is your inspiration behind that? Do you think it's just what you said before about it being more prone, things being more prone to happen on campus, or?
With regards to that specifically, I think sadly it's not just campus. And for us, being where we are, I mean, Western Pennsylvania itself has a major concern for opiates and heroin overdose. It's one of the highest in the country. And so we're in this region and we're in this area. So the university wants to ensure, not just for our own students, I mean, we are a part of downtown.
Yes.
Our police not just deal with students, but anybody who comes onto our campus, comes into our area. God forbid something were to happen, we want to be prepared as a university to make sure that we can save anybody's life. And that's the point of it. And it's just a reality right now that Western Pennsylvania has a very high number. And so we're not shying away from it.
Yes. So, in a much lighter note, how do you think students feel about the new food service that we've brought to campus now? I know Amtrak was a little rough around the edges for students. How do you think they feel about it now?
I hope better, without a doubt. I hope better. I think nothing's perfect. I mean, I think we should be honest about that. Where I think we've made our biggest improvement right now is the communication and the relationship between the managers and the staff within Culinart. They meet with us on a daily basis and they work with us on anything and everything we want to see changed. Being that it's their first year, they're trying to still figure out everything. One of the things I have to remind anybody when it comes to somebody's first year, their freshman year, the first time they go home for Christmas, it's their first time they're going home for Christmas. The first time they come back, spring break, all those things, it's still a first time. So even though a person may be here for 6 months, it's still the first time they're doing something. So Culinart is no different. They're trying to figure out what our spring break looked like. They're trying to figure out what the end of the year looks like. They're trying to figure out what students want as the year goes along. So they are doing that. And as they're learning, as we're figuring it out, it's working. I believe the food's better. Now, I will say without a doubt, there's always going to be that piece, which is for at least the students who live on campus, to eat in the same exact place every day, 3 times a day, is going to get boring for anybody. And that's something we are always going to be challenged with. None of us eat at the same restaurant every day of our lives. Right. Our own homes, we change what we do. We order pizza out on Friday nights to break up the idea of eating the same kind of foods every day. So the nature of a food service provider on campus, being that you go to the dining hall, you sit in the same chair, you get the same kind of food every day, will always be something we have to figure out. How do we make it fresh? How do we make it new? How do we change it up so it doesn't feel that way? And we're trying to, but I don't know that we'll ever conquer that. I don't think we'll ever really conquer that idea. So what we can do is just have a group that's willing and wanting to try new things. And I believe so far culinary has definitely helped us try to do that.
Well, my question to you then is, do you enjoy the food any better, or?
I do. I definitely do. I definitely do. And I do eat here every day lunch. I think as the Dean of Student Life for several reasons. What you all are experiencing as students, I need to experience as a staff member. I think it's important to make sure I see and feel and touch and taste the same things you all as students are, so that I have an honest opinion about what's going on. As were the students, I saw the frustrations we were having in the past, and I was experiencing them myself. So when my boss and my boss's boss was saying, hey, what's going on, I had an honest answer about that. So yes, I do eat there all the time, as well as it's a place where I see students. It gives me an opportunity to get out of the office and on a casual level bump into students and say, hey, don't forget you need to do, or they can say, hey, I need to ask you a question. And eating there allows me the chance to do that.
So I know another complaint that students are having has to do with the pool that hasn't been filled since 2011.
Sure.
Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. So the history of it is that the Student Center was once the YMCA, okay? And it was obviously owned by them. We bought the building 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever exactly it is now. Everything runs quickly together. We bought the building. At the time, the building itself, knowing that the YMCA was selling and knowing that they were giving it to somebody else, the upkeep of the building had gone down. They were no longer putting money into the upkeep of the actual building. Why would they? Kind of idea. The pool was one of those areas in which, for us to have maintained the pool at the time of us getting the building, and I don't know the exact number, but from what I understand, from what I have been told, a substantial amount of money right from the beginning had to have been used to just bring the pool back up to standard. All the behind, the pipes, and all the things that make a pool work. We would have had to put a substantial amount of money at that time into getting the pool back up to standard. And then there is a yearly cost to run a pool. At the time, the belief was that there wouldn't be enough use for us to justify the cost of the initial and then the continual upkeep. So the university made the decision then that we would not maintain the pool.
Well, my follow-up then would be, do you think that the decision will ever be changed, or is this kind of like a final thing where the pool will never be used in history ever again?
If I'm a betting man, I would say more than likely that it will not.
Okay.
I don't believe we feel as a university the cost justifies the use that it would be. Because it's like any new toy, I think, is what we believe from looking at other universities, doing our own research. You like it at first. First day of summer, everybody jumps in the pool and enjoys it. But then eventually, student life gets in the way. You've got to do your job, you've got to go to a class, you've got to do internships, you got to study, you got to do all those things. So are you really going to have time to go to the pool? And I think the belief is over time that will dwindle less and less. But the cost of maintaining the pool will not. So whether we have 5 kids in the pool, 5 students in the pool, or 100 students in the pool, that cost stays the same. And our belief is that over time it will go down to where there'll be fewer and fewer students. So we believe we can spend our money in different places and get more out of that. Students will get more out of something like this, spending money on this kind of actual facility and what it takes to run this kind of facility than a pool. So no, I'm not the final say on anything, but I would believe not, no.
So do you feel that that maybe surveys or things that get people's opinions on things like that would be beneficial, or do you think that you guys just really make decisions based off of budget more than the opinion of your students?
No, I don't. I will not say that. I mean, we definitely ask and look for and continue on a daily basis to get the thoughts and wishes and wants of our students. Does finances play a role? Of course. Everything has a cost, and we have to weigh the cost versus the use versus the benefit in everything we do. Every classroom we change, every piece of equipment we buy, everything we do is based on what are the needs of the current students, and yes, what can be afforded, and how many, any one thing, how many people that can benefit. It doesn't have to necessarily be a direct benefit. The cameras in this kind of place, maybe 20 students a year actually use them, but 20 students use them and then people get interviewed and then et cetera, et cetera. So the ripple effect can be for many. It's not just the few that maybe touch something, but it is something we have to consider, how many it will affect. But no, we are currently at this exact moment. You may have seen this already today. If not, you will at some point in time. I sent an email out to all the students today regarding housing policies. And we're looking to see, as the Playhouse comes downtown again, we're looking at our own housing and how that will affect. Will students want to come back downtown, kind of idea, not stay in Oakland, those kind of things. What are some reasons why they don't? And that's exactly what the current survey is. Why have you left? Other than financial reasons, because that's always a main one. What are some of the other reasons? So no, I think we are looking for and ask for students' thoughts and opinions all the time. But that's not the only factor that goes into what we do, without a doubt.
So do you feel that you get more complaints than praise? Do you really feel like you are acknowledged for your job that you do on campus?
No, I feel like I feel like more students appreciate us and what we do than don't. Sure. Are there complaints? Absolutely. Is it the nature of humans? Is it the nature of people to share their complaints before their praise? They do. Sure. We're quick to say, hey, this isn't working, then quick to say, hey, this is great and it works great. We don't need to say that. We expect it to work. And that's something that we are very comfortable with. If I'm doing my job and I'm doing it right, then you're going about your daily lives, and that's what's supposed to happen. So I anticipate and expect more students to come forward when they have a concern than when they don't. The more I don't hear from you, the happier you are. And I'm okay with that, because that's the nature of what we do.
That's awesome. So, in a lighter note, what's something that maybe the funniest incident that's happened on the job? Incident or
yeah, that could get me into trouble, without a doubt. I don't know that I can pinpoint anything. I will say that you all as students, what I enjoy the most is when I get to know you a little bit and the mystique of a dean or kind of thing goes away, and I get to see you as yourselves. There are several times in the offices that I work in where everybody gets a little punch drunk and it's been long nights and stuff like that, and we can have some good laughs, and we sort of break down the barriers of who we are and just sort of become ourselves. And when that happens, those are times where I like to sit back and just watch students be themselves. You all are very interesting and can be a little crazy, and when you're honest about things and get your own guards down, those are times where I can really appreciate students.
Thank you so much. And I really just appreciate the fact that you really care about students' lives. You're not just, filling the position. You're actually wholeheartedly caring about the position and the students that live on campus. So I really appreciate you talking with me today and just being genuine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And that concludes our segment today. Thank you so much for watching this Special Point News interview. I'm Aniya Thomas. We are live at the Body Christian Fellowship, where we're at the prayer burner, where the topic tonight is love. We have wonderful food that has been prepared by Dean Palo, and we're also just enjoying some really good fellowship and some really delicious crispy bacon.
Enjoy this time, realizing that you, who are the God of the universe,
The Body Christian Fellowship's prayer burner is religious and delicious. It's breakfast for dinner. It's Brenner. 20-year-old Kieran Delvin is a junior at Point Park University. He is an active member and a consistent participant of each semester's prayer burner. Kieran says the prayer burner is an event you just shouldn't miss.
I love seeing all of my friends here every year. Obviously, breakfast food is great. Bacon is always a de-stressor, at least in my life. And I really love the spiritual aspect, getting to pray with my fellow students and lead them in prayer if I get the chance to do that.
Out of Dean Palo's love for Christ and for the members of the Body Christian Fellowship, he provides hot and tasty breakfast foods for students one day out of each semester. Dean Palo enjoys giving back to the student body, not only by feeding students physically, but spiritually as well.
Keep God first, and you'll know that your path is going to be fine.
Have a strong faith. One, that's easy, because when you have a strong faith and it's a faith-based type organization, that keeps you coming back. As I mentioned today when I was talking to the group, this is the best way to end a day, to come together with a group of like-minded folks, no matter what that your passions are. But with a strong faith, it really is. It's a pick-me-up. It is something that I really enjoy because I do see like-minded folks who do have strong faith and use that faith in order to do positive things in life.
For James and other students, the prayer burner is always something to look forward to. They can count on leaving with a belly full of food and a heart full of love. Reporting for Point News, I'm Aniya Thomas. It's not easy, but the members of the Black Student Union say it's worth it. 19-year-old Ashley Mayers is a sophomore at Point Park University. She joined the Journey to Fitness event to get fit and maintain a healthy lifestyle. It featured personal trainer and former student Amber Brown. Ashley says the workout took everyone by storm.
6, 7, 8, 9.
How was your Can you breathe hard in and out? Inhale.
It was very intense. I was tired because I haven't worked out in a while, so that worked up a lot of my energy, and I was a little hot, I was a little dehydrated because I didn't really eat much today, and I drank a little bit of water, so it just, made me almost feel like I was passing out, but just a little overheated though.
But Ashley wasn't the only one who thought the exercises were a little challenging. We are live at the Journey to Fitness event where our personal trainer Amber Brown just taught us some really hard exercises. Trust me, it is not as easy as it looks. We are here with about maybe 15 participants where we are just having a wonderful time and most definitely out of breath. Amber Brown, although tough in the gym, has her own insecurities that drive her to train and motivate others every day.
I really struggled with some insecurities growing up. I went through bullying in high school and just different situations in my life. So I really can relate to women, especially with how hard it is to be a woman, and I really want every woman to feel like they're worth something and that they're beautiful. Being able to support other women and encourage other women, it's really just a wonderful feeling inside, and that's what gives me the drive, just knowing that I have the power to be able to do that.
For Mayers and other students, the workshop required a little sweat and a lot of motivation, but it ended with everyone feeling and looking a little stronger. Reporting for Point News, I'm Aniya Thomas. Immigrants living in Pittsburgh dominated the conversation as Mayor Bill Peduto spoke at Point Park Center for Media Innovation for the first time this year. Pittsburgh isn't officially a sanctuary city, but Mayor Peduto says the city follows sanctuary policies. He says if the new president threatens to take away federal funding over it, then he is willing to take it to court. This was the first time students were able to question the mayor since President Trump took office. The CMI was filled to capacity with students, teachers, and various professionals eagerly listening for what's going to happen next in the city of Pittsburgh. The floor was open for questions, and Point Park students definitely took advantage of that opportunity.
It was absolutely successful. We really got into issues about the city and about, things that concern all of us as students and also people who are from Pittsburgh like myself.
Mayor Peduto told me that he appreciates the tough questions.
I did. A lot of young journalism students and probably a lot of people who will be asking me questions for the next few years, or at least I hope so.
Point Park students seemed eager to continue asking questions to share their ideas, concerns, and hopes. Reporting for Point News, I'm Aniya Thomas.